Hi, I'm Richard Olson with Ag World Equipment. We're here with the Gleaner S78 combine today, but this applies to almost all Gleaner combines from the R series, R72s, R75s, R76s through the S series. Get a lot of calls throughout the fall with the question of what do I do? My separator clutch won't turn on. So what we're going to show you today is some simple checks that you can do with either a test light or preferably a voltmeter to find out what's going on and hopefully very quickly solve your issues. Just got a few little tips here that we've learned over the years that'll hopefully help you. So we've got these two connectors here on the brush holder, female spade connectors we can disconnect, and what you'll have is someone sitting in the seat inside. Just need the key on, don't need the engine running. Turn the clutch on and check for power across these two. You should have 12 volts of power here. By mentioning that we need somebody in the seat to turn the separator clutch switch on and activate this clutch brings up a good point. A lot of customers do end up bypassing that seat switch with maybe a little jumper wire, throw it in the back corner of their cab and kind of forget about it. And then at some point later, throw a guard for their header or maybe their lunch kit behind the seat, and it knocks the little jumper wire out, and then they call me and say, hey, we can't get our clutch to turn on. So if you've got a bypass seat switch, the first thing you should do is make sure that the wire didn't fall out of it. But if that's okay, then you come here, you check for power here. If we have power here, but nothing at the clutches, then we know that it's from here in. If we don't have power here, then we start working our way back, checking back this way. Of course, if we don't have power here, then the first thing I would check is the fuse. Of course, on the earlier R series, it's to the right of your knee. On the later ones, it's behind your shoulder in the fuse panel there, but there should be one labeled separator clutch, 25 amp fuse. We'll check the fuse first. If that's good, like I say, the seat switch. We've got a connector on the side of the cab right here, as I mentioned earlier. We have a purple wire coming out of the main harness down the left side of the machine that plugs into your brush holder. And we have a ground eyelet that also connects onto a little bolt on the side of the combine. That can come loose as well. If either of those happen, you won't have power. Or you won't have a clutch that works, I should say. That's another test you can do, is plug into your positive side here and just go to an external ground like a bolt on the side of your machine and see if you have voltage then, because maybe you've just lost your ground. Maybe you have a broken ground. Another thing that can happen is the little brushes inside the brush holder can simply wear out. We've got a plastic housing here that if it gets too hot, they can hang up and not carry the power on through. So we can quickly check if you know how to use an ohm meter. And if you go to the little horseshoe shaped symbol for resistance, for ohms, you can put one lead on a wire here and one lead back where it starts from the other end of the harness on the side of the combine here, and check the power through the brushes. So that's a quick, simple check you can do, and you can just check to either one. The lower the number, the less resistance you have through the brush holder, and you're looking for 30 ohms or less if you've got a good brush holder. If it starts to melt down on you and get bad, you might see 100 or 1,000 ohms, and then you won't get power to your clutch properly. Sometimes if you leave everything plugged in, have somebody up there with sitting in the seat to activate the seat switch with the clutch on, and simply wiggle this brush holder, you might hear it click because you've got problems in here. Then you can just thread this out. 1.25" wrench fits on. It's got actually a threaded stud. It screws out, and then you can replace this piece from right here. If you have power here and the clutches are still not turning on, then there's this little harness actually carries on through and is zip tied into this housing. And sometimes your unloader belt can clip it, or the unloader belt idler even more often, if it gets loose here, can come by and cut a wire, and that will not allow power into the magnets. So problem can be right there. But yeah, this is a good place to start. You can learn a lot just in a couple of minutes. If you get stumped here, then give me a call back. Thanks.